Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing.
This is Sky Blues Extra.
Testing.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this week's Sky Blues Extra Live, which is kindly sponsored by Shortland Horn, Coventry's leading estate agents. Well, Ross, a disappointing day for the Sky Blues. Bitterly disappointing, not just the result, obviously, which is a travesty in the grand scheme of things, but performance-wise in that first half, just not at the races at all. Just sum up your overriding feelings in that loss.
It's a lot to sort of get my head around, really. I think the first half was shocking. We were very passive. It was just sort of a lack of sort of intensity. It was sort of like we were going through the motions a bit, I thought, from back to front. And it was, we did some nice, pretty things. They sat off us. They had a tactic of they were going to, sit off us, let us have the ball up until the halfway line. And it was going fine, but we had absolutely no intent, no movement, no sort of cutting edge at all. And, it was all nice and dandy while it's 0-0. And you're thinking, okay, that performance from the first half took us back to earlier in the season when we were trying to feel our way into games and trying to sort of grow into games. I remember Brentford, when we lost 2-0, it was exactly the same, where you're just thinking, I don't think Cardiff today had to get out of first gear in the first half. We were in reverse. Yeah, they were in first gear, and they find. I mean, the first goal was probably the best from their point of view. Like Jacob Murphy, good tackle back on Hamer, ball over the top, and they scored. But then the other two were just. I mean, the second one in the first half was a joke, wasn't it? And you look at it, and you just sort of players are looking around at each other. And I just thought it was just the first half was really poor. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty much to say. I just thought we just lacked intent. We lacked positivity going any further than the halfway line. It just lethargic performance in that first half. I mean, I missed the second goal. I went to the toilet and I come back. But I knew we were going to concede again. It was just that kind of a performance where as soon as one went in, I thought another one was going to go in pretty quickly and pretty sharpish after that. And once that happens, the game is done. It's too late to even contemplate getting back in that game. Question marks, obviously, over Mark Robins' choice at half-time. Didn't change it. Didn't do anything at half-time. Whereas last week, obviously, he made a boatload of changes, changed the formation as well at half-time. Where today, that same approach in the second half needed to happen, and it just didn't come.
No, I think at half-time, I was expecting Tyler Walker to come on at half-time.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for Max in the first half. All four of the box, it's supposed to be a box midfield, right? So in my mind, that means two of them are higher up than the other two. But it felt like they were just in the flat line and they just would go side to side. Everything was safe. Everything was passive. And I felt really sorry for Max because he was literally in the graveyard shift.
I was saying this to my dad because Max is going to get a lot of people have a go at him today, but he was feeding off absolute scraps. He was doing so much work up there, but nothing was happening. And people will look at him and go, well, he hasn't scored again, but that's not the point. We didn't create anything for him to even look at half a chance of scoring.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, the first half, I did feel sorry for him. And the difference is, so we played a one up front, and Cardiff also played a one up front. And the biggest difference were, and this is, I'll give Cardiff credit, so they've got Kiefer Moore, and I think he's a good player, but they got people. They had made people making runs beyond. So when the ball came, I mean, he would drop deep, and but they still had another couple of people, whether it was Murphy or Harry Wilson around him. O'Hare is supposed to be that person, and I thought he had a much better second half. But the first half, what was Max supposed to do when he got the ball? Just like I don't know what.
O'Hare was too far away from him at the best of times. And I mean, you look at the line. I've got the line up here. We did set up slightly differently today with Allen dropping back into sort of a flat midfield five, but O'Hare's positioning in that first half was just way too far away from Biamu, and that's probably because we weren't creating anything, and he was trying to get close to that midfield to pick up the ball.
Well, exactly, and the thing is, they played a back five as well, and it was just 5 versus 1. And Biamu, and Cardiff, their centre backs, they love a physical challenge. Morrison, Flint. I mean, that's their bread and butter. in the second half, and we'll get onto that. But that the movement causes them problems. Playing it back to goal, I think Morrison and that will lap that up all day. And the problem was O'Hare wasn't making the runs. I thought also our final ball when we did get a pass was was shocking in that first half. And I just thought, what is going on? And as I say, I think Cardiff, they were ruthless. They punished us, but I just thought we were just very timid in the first half.
Listen, Cardiff are a poor side. There's no two ways about that. You look at them today.
They're the seventh now.
Yeah, I know, and that shows the difference, doesn't it? They've finished their chances.
Well, the thing is, I think Cardiff played a lot better. I mean, I was speaking to my friend who's a Cardiff fan, and they were obviously very poor when we played them at St Andrews. And I thought there's no way they're going to be, play like they did in that game. New manager, they're unbeaten. I thought that I expected them to be better. They're home, and I just feel like, I thought the game was sort of ticking along. We're getting ourselves into the game. I hadn't felt massively under pressure. They'd had that one shot from that Perry and G, their right back. And then suddenly, just
what kind of surname's that, by the way?
Perry and G. I don't know, mate. I'd never seen what he looked like. I didn't even know who. I don't know. I'd never seen what he looked like. I'd heard about him, but no. And then one ball over the top, down the channel. Mm-hmm. Kiefer Moore's in. Ostergaard dives in, and it's good finish from him. But that's the difference. Like that, Cardiff made that goal look so simple in two passes.
And the reality was it wasn't.
Oh no! I mean, Ostergaard could have stood up and he dives in, but Kiefer Moore did very well, and that's the difference. They've got a striker there who could put those chances. Like, I didn't have any doubt that he was going to stick that in the back of the net. So I think Cardiff. Obviously, we're probably playing them at sort of the wrong time in terms of new manager bounce. But having said that, I felt like we could have got a win.
Absolutely, and Nigel's just backing up your point there. The difference is putting chances away. They've gone on a streak now where they didn't win in 7 matches, but they've won 3 on the bounce now. Now they're in 7th position. It just shows you what can happen in this league. Right, that's our initial thoughts, mine and Ross's. Obviously, this is your show as well as ours, so we'd love to hear what you've got to say. Just pop in a comment in whatever service you're watching on, and it will come into the show. And we'll get the best on screen. We do have a couple of callers waiting as well, so we'll crack onto those right now. We'll start with Michael Largy. Good to have you with us. Sky Blues Extra. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Wow. I'm as good as it can get, I suppose. If you'd have asked me about 40 minutes ago, I don't think I'd have come on and been quite polite.
A bit lethargic today, weren't they, the Sky Blues?
How can we go from that on the Watford game to that today? I mean, don't get me wrong, I was frustrated we didn't get the win on the Watford game, but today was just... It was just, wow. It's hard to describe. It's just demoralising. It's just, and if we play like that, then I really, really worry for us staying up. I really do. I mean, we look toothless up front. We've got nothing. I think we got shown today. Cardiff showed us. They taught us a lesson. That's how you win in the championship. That's how they didn't want to pass it around, side to side keep the possession at 60%, 70%. Oh, that's great. They literally got the ball, went direct, Kiefer Moore got the ball down and showed us up today, really. That's my opinion. I mean, Wilson should be starting. I think Morosi, there was chances last year when Morosi got bullied in the air. And the second goal showed that today. I think he was star-shaped on the floor when they was expecting a free kick, and he stood there like, well, where's my free kick? And it didn't come.
He's tried to go through 4 players there to collect that ball where there's enough defenders to make that challenge and get the ball clear. I do question his decision making at times, and I think you pointed that out right there that it is questionable at times, isn't it?
It's. I mean, you guys summed up. You sit there on the podcast and go, Cardiff get the goals from set pieces. They get the goals from free kicks and long throw-ins. And what was it today? The balls that they were giving sloppy free kicks around the edge of the area or sort of 30 yards out. And we know they had a goal disallowed, didn't they?
Yes, they did. That was a let-off, wasn't it? And we didn't learn.
It was offside.
But you're so right. I mean, that long throw as well. I mean, we just we just didn't look like we knew what they were going to do. Do you know what I mean? And we all know, like I say, a friend who's a Cardiff fan, he knows that they score so many goals from corners, free kicks, long throws, and we just didn't look set up and prepared for it, did we?
No, they didn't look it. I mean, when we were on the first 20 minutes, was it? We looked decent. We looked half decent. We had the ball down. We got the possession. But they've got this thing this season, and I love Robbins, and I love the way we're trying to play football. But it always seems to.
Oh, I think we might have lost Largy there. He was about to go off on a rant about Mark Robbins, but unfortunately, I think we've lost him.
Hello, guys.
Oh, there, he's back. Okay.
No, Wi-Fi is not great. But they get the ball out wide, and they just wang crosses in, just throw the ball into the area. And now you said it earlier, they've got centre backs that bread and butter for them. You know, Max has got nothing to. When we got the ball down, when we were 3-0 down, and they were trying to put the ball through the lines, we got chances and we created stuff. And I just get frustrated when I'm sitting there watching every week on the box and watching the ball go out wide and crossing it in, and they're just heading it straight back out again. And it's constant. And then as soon as we go behind, we get the ball down with little passes through the lines, and we look like we're got chances in us.
Yeah.
But it's too late by then.
It is too late. Yeah, I was literally just about to say that. It's why did we start playing when we're seemingly out of the game? And you know, is that down to management, or is it down to individuals? You know, not pulling their socks up.
Well, I think you guys know as much as me, mate. I'm scratching my head here, sitting there trying to work it out. It's part of being a Col fan, I suppose, isn't it? You know, last season was brilliant and it was amazing, winning 1-0 away from homes all the time. And we haven't got. As soon as we went 2-0 down at half time, I texted the lad through the match, and I just said I want to go off and do something else now. We're not going to pull this back. I've got no confidence. If we go 2 goals behind, that's it. It might as well be game over, because we haven't got the goals in us at the moment.
Is that the only thing that needs to change then for you? Just the goal situation. Obviously, that's very difficult. It's easy to say, but very difficult to produce, isn't it?
I know. I wish. Well, I've put my hand up. We all know we've got the lowest budget or second lowest budget in the league, and we're scrapping around for loan players and stuff like that. But that has been a massive thing for us this year, hasn't it? You guys know it. We're scoring goals. How many weeks we've gone without scoring?
It's been a Coventry City problem for nigh on 20 years. I feel, you know, we've only really had maybe McNulty and Godden last year who banged in the goals to.
Yeah, but the thing is, with McNulty, they weren't just putting crosses over. They weren't lobbing the ball into the box aimlessly, were they? They were building the ball up, putting the ball in the corners, letting him run onto the ball. That's the way that we scored. We got a chance. We did it. I can't remember the last game when the new lad scored. I kind of
suspect we are going to play that way, but without Matty Godden and Tyler Walker available for selection, then we've had to sort of change things up, and it obviously hasn't worked.
It hasn't, and I mean, I'm guessing I'm not the same as every other Coventry City fan at the moment. We're just in a bit of a rut, aren't we? I mean, defensively, I love Ostergaard, love him to bits. I mean, he's just too keen. He just wants to dive in on everything. I mean, Mora today just showed him up. You could see it. He was running at the ball, and he knew he was just going to dive in. So all Mora did is pulled it back, and he went straight past him, and he got shot off. Cardiff showed us how to defend today. They stood up where they needed to be. They won the ball from the headers, and they threw their bodies on the line when they had to. And we've got such young defence. They just sometimes one mistake, bang, goal.
There's naivety, isn't there?
And the heads drop.
There's naivety in the team. You know, there's only Matty James in this team who's got, you know, some championship, a wealth of experience. Everyone else, and you see it. I think you're totally right. Michael, you know, that goal just epitomised Ostergaard, you know, that sort of just a bit of a loose cannon at times, you know, that over-eagerness, committing. And Kiefer Moore, when you're up against, you know, experienced quality strikers, they're going to punish you, aren't they?
Yeah, he don't get me wrong, love the guy, and I really hope he can sign him if he can stay up. But ball in the air, brilliant. I mean, the guy should have 8-9 goals this season from set pieces. I mean,
today hit the bar, didn't he?
Yeah, he's brilliant in the air, but when on balls on the floor, he just dives in, and he's the silly stuff. Rose just doesn't look confident. Himes form's dropped a little bit. I mean, McFadden, everyone was slagging him off last season, but he's the only one that sits there organising stuff like James does in the midfield.
Yeah.
They organise the game. Alan, for me today, looked a bit lost. You know, Max, I know you stuck up from the start. I think he got bullied a bit today. He lost up. He didn't have no one around him. He struggled. He really struggled. And I really hope Walker can stay fit now and we could try and play talk because we need goals.
We need goals. You're right. And Walker is a goal scorer. We know that from his League One days. And I feel like he looked sharp in the second half.
He did. He looked like he wanted it. And the balls. He'd bring the ball down the area out from big hoofs in the air. And I think with Godden, like Dean said plenty of times, Godden's out probably for the most of the season now. And our only hope is we can keep Walker and Max can keep fit. I mean, the new lad looks like he can cause some issues, but I just don't think that the three up top works with us, really. We need to play two up top, in my eyes, but Mark Robbins doesn't like that, does he? He doesn't play that formation. And I think the only way, in my eyes now, we can stay up is if we get goals, and that's the only way of getting goals is putting two up top, really. I can't see any other way of doing it.
Largy, a wonderful debut on SkyBluesExtra Live.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming on to the show, mate. And hopefully,
I appreciate you having me, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. And hopefully, Largy can join us next time in better circumstances with a Sky Blues win. We say that every week for most of our callers, don't we? They seem to call in, they make their debut on either a really bad loss or a really boring draw, and it's probably just the way of the world. We'll go through some comments. Steve Jones said need to get Wilson back in between the sticks ASAP for me. Yep, I mean, Largy brought that up, didn't he? The confidence of Morosi. Sometimes he can be questionable coming out. We had that up with the Rose goal the own goal last week. And obviously today, not looking at his best. Samuel Force, I'm not sure most people will agree with this, but he thinks Robin should be out. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
No.
Kevin, Max looked lost today. Yeah, obviously we did comment on that. It's tough for Max up there without someone beside him or someone at least close to him. Unfortunately for Mark, it's ruined his birthday. Hopefully, Mark, you can celebrate in style some other way. Just pick the Sky Blues. Obviously, didn't get that result for you. Lee Dunn saying definitely a struggle to find anything in the Cardiff half, and that's something you brought up, wasn't it, Ross? In that first half, we really, really struggled to get beyond our defensive line.
Yeah, and it was just a lack of sort of intent to do it. I feel like rather than Max looking lost, I just thought he looked lonely. He had no friends up there. He was just by himself. It was sort of you're totally right, Dino. There was just a lack of sort of intent. Everyone was happy just to run and pass it sideways and then run into space, and it's thinking, well, how are we supposed to be progressing up the pitch? It was very frustrating that first half.
Yeah, and if it is down to the energy, and Lee sums it up here, like two of our big performers, Rose from last season, he was going to be down as the number one defender this year, and Gus Hamer didn't really turn up to the party today, did he? I'm not sure whether he was carrying a knock while he was taken off. I saw him holding his foot at one stage, so let's hope that's not too bad of an injury for him, and he can look to play midweek. Kyle, we should have won against Watford today against Cardiff. Cardiff was difficult. Robbins need to play that Swedish striker. We had 66% possession and still can't score. Are we good enough for this league? He feels that we are not good enough for the Championship. Do you agree with that, Ross?
In the first half, it'd have been, if you'd asked me at half time, I'd have agreed probably wholeheartedly. I just think we need. I feel like, I don't know, I'm not really into that XG stuff, but I just feel like it's so low. I remember, seeing a table and we were bottom. We hadn't won a single game, So I just feel like, I do think we're good enough, and I think it's fine margins. I think today just showed, one team able to take the chances, and then you got another team who, I'm sure you've got the stats, but we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
Let's throw them up now. Let's look at it. It's absolutely ridiculous if you look at it. Look at that.
The thing is, Cardiff weren't bothered about the possession. They'd have known that at the start of the game. But it's what you do with the possession, and I felt like a lot in the first half, it was sort of, it was nice in midfield. But you look at the attempts, and a lot of those must have come at in the second half, wasn't they? And we could have scored 3 or 4 goals easily in the second half.
Bit of
But
pinball
again,
as well, wasn't there?
oh, pinball! But that's it was like Michael said. Cardiff actually defended, but they threw people, in front of the ball. So how many times did we have a shot, Dino, and the ball ended up just trickling to the goalie? Do you know what I mean? Like they stopped us getting clean strikes on the ball. Da Costa had a chance. Biamu somehow blazed wide from 5 yards. O'Hare had a shot. Walker had a shot. And Cardiff just managed to do enough to make the ball not, force the keeper into a top save.
And it's always difficult up against a physical side. That's shown on a few occasions already this season. But I mean, look at the fouls: 24 fouls, and it doesn't equate to 3 yellow cards, does it? I mean, that challenge on O'Hare at the end was deserving of a red card in my book.
I mean, the fouls. I was sort of laughing as the game was going on because I was just like, and I messaged my mate, Cardiff fan, said another foul. And O'Hare was just getting kicked.
Just a little. Did you have a little tally chart going? Did you?
I did. I said. I just started putting yawn emojis. I was just like, I'm getting bored of this. Just another foul. But you know what? And I've said it all along. It happening as Bournemouth the first time this season. These teams, they know they look the 3 yellow cards. I think they could have got a few more, but they spread it around. They all took a turn to have a foul. And what do? We just let people run like seamlessly. We Cardiff broke up our attacks. They stopped the fluidity of what we were trying to do.
We're kind of in awe of what was happening on the pitch. We just couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, well, the first goal, for example, simple ball, and we're just chasing shadows, and there's no challenge. Where's the pressure on Moore when he's taking his shot? Nothing. Whereas when we get a shot and you think it's a clear opportunity, and Cardiff are doing everything they can to put us off. And and O'Hare, I mean, he got fouled. Of those fouls, he probably got fouled for 90% of the second half. It was just a joke, But again, it worked. They sort of stopped the play. They stopped the fluidity. They knew they were under pressure, and we just don't do that. I mean, even in the second half, I felt like Cardiff, their attacks just seemed uninterrupted. Do you know what I mean? Simple passes. Where's the interceptions?
But I didn't feel like they were very dangerous attacks from Cardiff. I think we gifted them 3 goals there today, basically.
Oh well, I agree. I completely agree. I don't feel like Cardiff had to work really hard for the goals at all. The third one, it was the one which annoyed me the most. Honestly, at the start of the second half, you're thinking, right, that's a poor first half. I didn't feel like coming on at half time. And I thought,
show intent, show positivity, show difference.
Go and grab a goal. If you get the first goal after 65 minutes, you go, you know what, we've got 25 minutes and it's 1-0 effectively. And what do? Free kick. We're half asleep. I mean, you'd think we'd be the team who's come in. We've got to have a show reaction. And I mean, it's a good finish, again. But half asleep. Really poor, that third goal.
And like you say, go get that early goal. And I said to my dad, it felt like a game of cricket in the way that you get 1 wicket, it generally brings 2. And it felt like if we got 1 goal, we'd get a second quickly after that. Especially after when we went 3-0 down. It was only us in the ascendancy from that point, and that's when we started to create chances.
But why do we wait? And this is the thing we're saying. Why did we wait for 2-0 to start playing? Because at the end of the first half, we showed a little bit more intention, and we and I thought, okay, let's start the second half where we left the first half, but we didn't, and we gifted another goal, and it's 3-0, and you're just thinking, how many times have we scored 3 goals all season? Once, Rotherham? I can't think. Oh well, maybe 2 or 3 times, but not enough to make me go, oh, it's all right. You know what? Actually.
Yeah. We'll come back from this.
And we didn't get the goal. We didn't make it 3-1 soon enough. We could have. Ostergaard could have gone in, and you go, you know what? We've got half an hour here to get 2 goals.
Yeah.
And it was just a real shame, wasn't it?
All right, let's bring in another caller. Let's see what they've got to say. The man, the myth, the legend, Glenn Gorin Eriksson. Hey, Glenn. Good to have you with us again on SkyBluesExtra Live. You must be bitterly disappointed with that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just they're not a good side, I don't think, Cardiff, like you said on the podcast. I think they've got 3 good players, and it was the front 3, and that was pretty much the difference in the game. I just think I listened to Cardiff commentary, and they were like, Cov have got all the possession, but they're very blunt, and that was probably quite a good, accurate description of us.
Yeah.
But it was a weird game because toothless, but it was a weird game because you felt if we got one, we'd get two, or we could get
Yep.
three, because the last 20 minutes, their legs were gone, and they had really no one on the bench to bring on. Really, so that the kill is the third goal after half time. That just nailed us.
And it kind of summed up the
Unfortunately.
performance in a way, didn't it? That we just didn't grab the ball by the horns at any point during the match until we went 3-0 down. It's too late to do that, right?
Yeah, I just think Robbins. I don't want to criticise the guy, but if you're going to play Max up front against three proven Championship defenders, which the three lads they've got at the back are, and they're experienced, he's never going to have any success against them because they're just going to bully him. And he needed somebody alongside him there. And I think O'Hare would have been far more effective in the Allen role.
Yeah.
Well, that's not saying I think Allen played all right, but I just think Hamer was non-existent. Ostergaard is culpable for the first two goals. I think he clattered into Morosi. Well, Morosi's attempt to punch the ball, I think I could punch the ball better than that.
Well, I'm going to ask you about the lineup here. I've put it up on the screen again. Obviously, we set up with this flat five in the middle. What's your thoughts on why Jamie Allen's playing there and not Ben Sheaf when he's available for selection?
I think Allen's probably because he gets around the pitch a bit more, and I'm guessing he can kind of, whichever side he's on, he can cover for DaCosta and McCallum.
Would you not feel like if you're playing a flat five there, your intent is to keep it tight, and having someone like Ben Sheaf in front of the defence would do that? I feel like Robbins has got that wrong today in regards to he wanted to keep it tight, obviously, by playing the flat five, but he just got the player selection wrong. Would you agree with that?
I think the one thing he'd either needed to was either go and have a go at them, and probably drop her hair a bit deeper and play the two up top. And Allen, unfortunately, would miss out. Or you bring Sheaf in and kind of just say, we're going to be solid and we're going to have a go the last 20 minutes, like we did a lot of games last season where we came on strong. But I just...
So it was neither nor...
I just found it weird. Hamer was... No. Yeah, we're not going for games. We're reactive rather than proactive on it. Yeah. I think that's the thing. And I was surprised at half time why he didn't put Walker on. Just have a go, give him 45 minutes.
And another point from a comment that I was just trying to find earlier on, they said that like we seemingly seem to, every mistake we make, we seem to be punished for it, and it's just not going our way, is it? But we can't keep saying those things. At some point we've got to make, we're the makers of our own destiny, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't think the ref was great today. I think they I didn't realise that pulling players down was not a yellow card, because the amount of times they tugged and pulled. I think they seemed to think we're playing rugby or something.
I can't get into another.
I think Morrison did.
Rant.
But I just think it's a joke that Max has got booked for having a go, and Morrison's done 3 or 4 blatant fouls before the one he gets booked for. And I just think that's not fair that we're not. He didn't make a massive difference, but I just thought he wasn't consistent with it. And there's another one another week. I'll book everyone that makes a tackle. But
yeah, it's the consistency thing, isn't it?
It just didn't really work.
The thing
Yeah. It just, I thought Kiefer Moore fell down every time he got touched, and I don't think.
I think he was quite clever today, Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, he scored Ostergaard for him. Yeah. But I just think it just shows you how they're not a good side and where they are in the league, and they've hardly got any injuries. If they had 3 or 4 injuries, they'd be where we were. It's just we've got to kind of get through till March till we get Dabo, Kelly, and everyone else back up fit and firing. But it doesn't look promising on.
It doesn't get any easier from here, does it? Norwich City, Brentford, Swansea, Blackburn. That's our next 4 games. I mean, what are you hoping to achieve from those games? Because on paper, it looks like an absolute barren run, doesn't it?
Well, I think he's going to play Shipley left wing back on Wednesday night, which is just a car crash waiting to happen, because I don't think Reed's fit. With our home form, it wouldn't surprise me if we nick results. But to be honest, draws aren't really any good at the moment. We need to win games because Rotherham
teams around us are winning
getting
matches
close
now,
to-
aren't they? They're scraping wins and scraping points where they shouldn't be scraping them, really. But obviously we've got no control over that. We've only control our own destiny, can't we?
No, I think there's games that we can do well in. I think the system we played today might work better at home because it gives us a bit more space. But we've got to have a go. I think I'll be tempted. I think he's got to drop Morosi and bring Wilson back in. I think I'll be tempted to pull Ostergaard out and bring Faz in. He's obviously going to play Shipley left wing back, which I wouldn't do, but I don't think we've got any option because I don't think Reed's fit and we can't play McCallum. And I think I'd drop Allen and play O'Hare a bit deeper, and I might even just go Gorkrez and Walker up top and pull Max off. I don't know why he left Max on when he's got booked and he's carrying an injury. He could have took him off 10 minutes earlier.
Yeah,
I just think it's another example of Robin's bizarre tactical decisions with subs.
absolutely. Glenn, good to have your input as always on SkyBluesExtra Live. Really appreciate you coming onto the show, mate. And hopefully we'll speak to you on Tuesday or I can't remember. Is it Tuesday we play or Wednesday?
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Wednesday we play versus Norwich at home. Let's go through some more comments. Mark's obviously stating that 18 times we've hit the woodwork this season. 18 more goals effectively, isn't it, Ross?
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's we were saying before we came on air, just Ostergaard hitting the crossbar. I forget what day of the week it is. Do you know what I mean? I just go, which game are we talking about now? When we look back at the end of the season, wherever we are, we say, "Oh, remember when Ostergaard hit the crossbar?" I think we'll just go for every game and go.
Yeah,
I mean,
this one.
Look, we've been unlucky, and I think that to a point, a lot of those it's unfortunate. But I also think there's ones where it's like, got to be doing better. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing. Look, about all, I don't think we need to worry about the referee today. He was not the reason we lost. I don't think. I think we were poor.
No.
That first half was shocking. Look, he could have booked more of the players. He could have sent one off. But we were the reason why we were 2-0 down.
Absolutely. But someone's blaming you. Hey, Ross. Glenn's blaming you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I was to blame. I don't know. Maybe I didn't wear my lucky pants.
To be honest, I was going to ask you, did you want to do a watch along today? Because I knew there was no commentary. And it's probably a good job we didn't, because it'd probably be the most depressing 90 minutes watch there is.
Well, I know. I don't know. I didn't really show up for it. I felt positive today.
Yeah, I did as
well. I woke up
yeah.
and I thought, you know what? We've not won at Cardiff in 13 years since J-Tab. I thought, we've got. I thought we were going to do well. I really believed, and then I don't know. They killed me.
Coming here from our lovely sponsors at Shortland Horn. What makes it frustrating is we play good football and don't look like we are good enough at this level, but we need to take our chances. I feel like with the team we have, we should be in a much better position, especially with some of the performances we've showed this year. We can mix it with the big teams in this division, but certain things are just going against us, and we keep coming back to the luck, and we keep going back to the missed chances, and let's just hope that come the end of the season, that's not the reason why we get relegated.
Well, exactly. You make your own luck as well, don't you? And last week, for example, we were on here last week, and I think we were sort of pleased with the point, but we were disappointed having watched the game. I feel like last week, that's sort of when you're playing a team who are off it, you've got to punish them.
Yeah.
Like we made poor decisions last week, and look, had we backed it up with a win today, I'd have gone cracking 4 points from a possible 6. But we're not getting it right at both boxes at the same time. Like today, we made mistakes defensively, and we couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Last week, we were good defensively, and we still couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. They're not aligning, and that's the problem, I think, at the moment.
We'll just go to a couple more comments before we bring Mark into the show. Donald O'Donoghue, the club had an opportunity in the transfer window to go and get a proven and established striker, but they gambled on a rookie. Surely it was clear and obvious lack of goals was and still our Achilles heel. I mean, the cash situation is probably the one thing that stopped us going and getting that proven and established striker, wasn't it, Ross?
Oh, yeah. I mean, who are we going to get? who is this established striker?
I mean,
just don't.
people look at Charlie Austin, don't they? Glenn Murray, but these guys are on
No.
40, 50 grand a week.
Look, Glenn Murray, I thought looked absolutely rubbish when we played Forest.
Yeah.
I thought he looked like an old man walking around the pitch. Look, I don't know who we were supposed to be getting. Look, we've got Matty Godden injured. Tyler Walker's been injured. Tyler Walker's hopefully going to be back now. Touch wood, can stay fit, between now and the end of the season. I think this guy from Brighton is the best we could have done. I just don't think, I wasn't expecting any signings.
No.
Robbins had said, we haven't got the money to bring anyone in. So we actually brought Matty James and Gyökeres in. I was pretty surprised.
Michael in agreement with us. That was a net first half performance of pretty much everyone, even with Sky Blues tinted glasses on, could see that first half performance. We just wasn't at the races. Too many players off the pace. Changes should have been made at half time. Yet that's something we brought up. And it's something I'm going to ask Mark as well, straight off the bat. Mark, good to have you with us on SkyBluesExtra. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
You'd have made changes at half time, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it needed. I said on the social media that Walker needed to come on second half straight away, throw caution to the wind. I mean, I personally, I'd have gone 4-4-2 today at the start of the game. I think you've got to look at the next three games. You're playing against the top three teams in this league. This was a must-win game for me today. But as everyone's just been saying, we were so naive at the back. The goals we conceded was so poor. And
definitely three of the worst goals we've conceded this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just, the first goal was a long pass, and Kiefer Moore, for me, he's the difference at this level between. That's a player we need, someone like that.
Yeah.
It's someone who can hold the ball up, can run at defenders, and can score a goal, and that's what he does. Unfortunately, we haven't. Hopefully, entirely.
Few and far between, though, aren't they, in this division?
Yeah,
it is.
I agree. I agree what you were saying before about why do we not bring a striker? Well, it's clear that it's not within our budget, and what we have to do is we've been unlucky with injuries, but now we've got Walker, back. He's come on the sub. We've just got to hope that he can, get the straps on, and we just haven't got a finisher at the moment. And I think Ross made a great point about it's that balance between defending our box and then attacking their box. Look, we only started to play when we were 3-0 down. And whilst, as a fan, all you want to see, the minimum you expect as a fan is effort. And I could never criticise the players for that. There is effort there. But it's just naivety for me. The third goal was poor. You've got to stop that quick free kick. You've got to put someone in front of that ball. If it means that you get a yellow card for it, so be it. But you've got to put someone in front of that ball, stop that quick free kick. That to me, in my opinion, was the worst goal.
Yeah, I agree.
It was just basic. And to me, it highlights how we're just not streetwise enough at the moment. We're too naive. I don't think we're a bad team. We've played good football. I think the football we play is good to watch on the eye, but there's no end product.
Yeah, it's that cutting edge, isn't it? That X factor that's going to change us from just a good football-based team to one that actually wins matches and progresses.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'll be critical of the manager today was the starting. I think 4-5-1 for me was too negative. I think Cardiff are a sort of team. We beat them previously at St Andrews, obviously, and we are good enough to beat them. There's there's an argument of having McFadzean maybe playing at the back, because McFadzean is one of them players that if he's up against someone big and strong, he's actually he likes that. He's up for the battle. Where McFadzean is kind of where he is a bit of a liability for me is if he's up against someone with a bit of pace. But I think that kind of game today would have been a good game for him to start in. I just felt it's just frustrating at the moment because the game before against Watford we played really well. We should have won 2-0 at least. And I felt at the time people say that was a good result, and I felt no, it's not a good result. We should have won that game because teams around us are picking up points left, right, and centre, and we're not. I think Biamu, I know it's not been easy for him, but I don't think he's championship quality. But his contribution for the club's been fantastic. But unfortunately, I just feel I think we've been unlucky with injuries, but it's just frustrating to watch. We just seem to try and walk the ball into the net all the time, and it's just.
I think you said
it's
it
just
said it
annoying.
well in regards to a bit negative, and I think Jack sums it up there that we're playing safe, aren't we? Today's the game when you've got to play Norwich and you've got to play Brentford. Those are the games where you try and play a little bit safe and just try and get a point out of them. And if you can get 3, brilliant. But today was the game that we needed to go out there, show intent, show positivity, and attempt to pick up 3 points. And we just didn't show any of that at all until we went 3-0 down. Too late.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, my wife was getting sick and tired of me moaning and swearing all the time watching the game. But no, I know you're right. We're 3-0 down, then suddenly we started to play. I thought Hamer had a really poor game today. I thought the worst game I've seen him play.
It was,
today.
yeah.
I think, you could look at it from a point of view as we could have had possibly a penalty in the first half on Biarmi. It looked. I mean, that's not a reason why we lost the game, of course.
No.
But that we could have had a penalty there. But I just thought it was a game. It was a game we could have won today. It's like the last 2 games now. We could have picked up 4 points there. I would have happy if we'd have won. It's all ifs and buts, but we just have to go. We just have to concentrate on the next game against Norwich Wednesday, and we've just got to believe. It's no point feeling sorry for ourselves. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
We can't afford to do that. We just have to roll our sleeves up and just get on with it.
I think it's not all doom and gloom, is it? I mean, you look, and I'm looking at the table now. Birmingham at 28. Okay, Wickham are out of it, but so Birmingham are in 23rd position with 28 points. A win for the Sky Blues would take them to 16th. So there's still 8 teams battling for 2 positions. It's not all doom and gloom, and we're definitely still in the mix, aren't we? We just need to grind our way out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that teams around us got games in hand. I think.
But points on the board are better than games in hand.
Yeah, that's true. But the first thing we need to do is we can't really think about too much about other teams. We've got to think about ourselves. We've got to think about how we going to score some goals, and how we're going to open teams up. I felt today. I think Ross said it before at the start. I felt Cardiff really just were in first, second gear, and whenever they got a chance, they score. And as I say, Kiefer Moore's a difference in this league. It's someone we just don't have at the moment, and I know it's budgetary and all that. We all know that. But that's if we want to be a better club and and start climbing up this league, and hopefully we stay up this season. Of course, he's the sort of player we need up front. That type of striker, someone who is big and strong, who can bring other players in the game, win fouls, and just an absolute nightmare. I think Max has done well, but I just feel he's not of that standard, unfortunately.
That's fair enough. Mark, lovely to have your input again. Thank you very
Ross.
much for waiting and joining us on SkyBluesExtra Live.
Cheers,
Hopefully we'll speak to you in better circumstances soon. Ross, we'll start to wrap things up there. I think we've pretty much said all we need to say about today's result. How do we go forward from here? It's obviously a very, very difficult run of fixtures we've got coming up. Is it just about just see what we can get from those games?
I think so. I mean, I am fearful that actually after this run of fixtures, we will be in the bottom 3. It was something I thought of before today's result. The only concern I have is I didn't blame Robbins going unchanged today because we played well last week. But the problem I have is we have one good performance playing the 5-2-2-1, and then we have a bad one, and then we go, we need to change it up, and there's nothing consistent. Like I feel like each game, like on Wednesday, he'll probably start to up top, and I agree. That's what I'd like to see. But there's no sort of consistency in the performance and then in the shape. I mean, I completely agree with one of the comments which said we've got 16 games, we need to go for it. I agree. I feel like today we were set up to try and be pragmatic, and we were anything but that because we literally gifted goals. Yeah. So it's like I don't feel like we were sort of setting up. The way we were playing was like we were just singing ourselves into the game, hoping to maybe snatch it, as the game grew on. But we just gifted goals away, and you're just thinking, what sort of game plan is that? Why don't we go at these? Do you know what I mean? Like we did in the second half and actually play.
Like we did in the first fixture against them.
Well, I mean, that was a fixture. It was like the only time this season we played 4-3-3. I remember we played Giles on the right wing, and we won the game. And we were pragmatic. We were good defensively. We actually looked up for it. We looked alert. We didn't make any mistakes. And I don't know. I'm this 5 at the back. Like I know we dominated Forest in the second half when we switched to it, and Watford were the better team. But I just feel like there's mistakes that happen. Do you know what I mean? In this formation sometimes. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you think moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any easier, does it? Norwich, top of the league, pretty much guaranteed now to get promotion the way they're playing. They're just looking an unstoppable force, don't they? I think they won again today. It's dangerous going up against a team like that when we're making so many mistakes, because that's the type of team that's going to completely punish us. And if you go too defensively, I mean, they've got the talent to unlock us no matter what team
of course.
we play. Vrancic, Cantwell, Buendia, Pukki as a front four. It's frightening. I mean, that's lower level Premiership front four for me.
Look, you can sit back against Norwich and they could open you up and win 1-0 and you go, I mean, the only thing I don't want to happen, is I don't want us to get to the end of the season and go down, say, and just think, if only we'd had a go. Like, the way I'm thinking of it is, look, we're going to concede goals, right, between now and the end of the season, but are we going to score goals? Playing like we did in the first half, are we going to score? I can't see us scoring more than 10 goals the way we
Maybe we'll surprise some teams if we go for it.
Like, that's what I mean. Have belief in your ability. I thought O'Hare actually dribbled with the ball better. Like, they actually look confident. But again, the game is over, and yes, had the consolation come a bit earlier, and we somehow managed to squeeze in a second, it might have been different. But I agree. I don't like the fact that we're sort of playing sort of safe, but it's not safe because we're sort of suicidal at the back.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, we're not even going for it. At least when we lost to Watford before, we were sort of gung ho. We looked like scoring loads, but we also looked like shipping them. At least that sort of made you think, oh, we look a threat going forward.
And there's some intent there. I mean, I'd rather go down all guns blazing than go down with at a whimper and without a whimper. Fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the thing I would hate. And I felt today in the first half we were 2-0 down. Cardiff didn't have to get out of first gear, and we whimpered our way to a 2-0 at half time, and that was the biggest frustration. And this is what I was saying to my friend Cardiff, and he thought they played great. I said, great. I said, you didn't have to play great. We were rubbish, in that first half.
Listen, if that was great to them, then I don't want to know what excellent is. Jesus, that was a poor performance by both teams today.
The thing is, they didn't need to be better than poor. That was that, no. And I think, like, in terms of, they defended smart, and going forward they punished us, and that was the key, and we showed that we could match them in the second half, but it was too late by then.
Well, listen, there's a few bright sparks around the corner. We're hearing Dabo is closer to back to the first team. Liam Kelly, I don't think Matty Godden's available, but obviously Walker's in there today. So there are a few sort of bright sparks in the distance for the Sky Blues. So hopefully the squad will get better over the next couple of weeks, and we need it, don't we?
We need it. We need it. I think we need to grind out like a big result, and I think Watford, had we beat Watford, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where we get a surprise result, because Rotherham seem to have found a way of scoring and grinding out results. Mm-hmm. Derby exactly the same. Sheffield Wednesday the same. And I'm just sat here going, today could have been a really good result, and last week we could have won the game. I mean, going forward, we need players back. How would you set up on Wednesday night?
Go two up top. Go for it. Let's just surprise them.
Yeah.
And let's not be afraid to play some long balls. That's something they might not expect either. And if we have to shit house our way to a 1-0 win, I'll take that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest frustrating thing for me is if we can stay up, and listen, and we all said it, 21st, I think a lot of these players we've got will be so much better for it next season.
The confidence,
but all these experiences in terms of they would have learned stuff from all these games and learned, actually, we're good enough to play. Like the first half, it was like we were lacking belief. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, you've just outplayed a team who were fourth in the league last week, and Watford today went and scored 6. They smashed Bristol City, and I'm thinking, we just turned up and it was like we were scared. But it's just, let's just go for it. Let's try and score some goals, and let's just pick up. We need 4 wins and a couple of draws. I'll feel all right.
Fingers crossed, and it starts on Wednesday versus Norwich City. Ross, thank you very much for joining me.
Cheers, Dina.
Again on SkyBluesExtra Live. Watchers, listeners, you can look for the SkyBluesExtra podcast on Monday, which will be released looking back at this game. Also released a fantastic episode with the little Maltese legend who scored obviously a couple of goals at Old Trafford. That was released on Friday, so that's available for you to listen now. Join us again for SkyBluesExtra Live, which will be Wednesday after the Norwich game. And all there's left to say, Ross, is play up Sky Blues.
Play up Sky Blues.